Hello! Let's sew together an outfit for the Minikane doll. You can find a link to the pattern in the description below the video. First you need to print and glue the pattern. Check the check square. Each side of it should be equal to 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch. Cut out all the details of the pattern. Since the contours of the pattern need to be transferred to the wrong side of the fabric, all details are given in mirror image. For the body you need to use a thin knitted fabric with lycra. We also need elastic thread. And ordinary sewing thread. We need 2 parts of the gusset. 1 part of the sleeve, on which you want to mark the middle. One cuff. And 1 part front and back. And 1 piece of ruffle. Put front and back face to face and sew the shoulder seam. Align the mark on the sleeve and the shoulder seam and sew on the sleeve. Fold the cuffs along the sides and sew to the sleeve. Sew side seams. Turn to the front. Overcast the neckline. Sew the ruffle into a ring and overcast both edges with an overlock. Lay along the top edge of the line with a long stitch of 4 or 5 millimeters. At the ends of the line you do not need to do bar tacks. Pull the ends of the thread and make folds. Pull until the length of the frill is the same as the length of the neckline. Align the seam of the ruffle and the side seam and pin the ruffle to the neckline. To sew on a ruffle, thread a regular upper thread into the sewing machine and wind an elastic thread onto the bobbin. Here's what happened. Now you need to sew a gusset. The narrower part of the gusset is sewn to the front. Mark the middle of the front on both parts of the gusset. Also mark the middle of the front on the main part. Aligning the marks, put the details of the gusset face to face, so that the front of the main part is between them. Check again, the wrong sides of the gusset part should be turned outward, and the front ones inward. Sew in front of the gusset with a sewing machine. Make cuts. Overcast the resulting seam with an overlock. Turn right side out and iron the seam well. Overlock the lower edge, except for the closed sections of the back, where we will sew the second part of the gussets. Iron the overcast edge inwards. Reinsert the bobbin with elastic thread into the sewing machine. Hem the ironed edge. Mark the middle of the gusset and back. Turn inside out. Aligning the marks, sew the gusset to the back. Bodysuit ready. Now sew tights. You need to sew from Ravana with lycra. Cut out 2 pieces of tights into belt. Sew the seams of the legs. Sew up the lower seams. Turn one half of the tights right side out and insert into the other half. Sew the halves along the middle seam. Turn tights inside out. Sew a belt into a ring. Fold the belt in half along the seam inward. Evenly pulling the belt, sew it on tights. Turn to the front. Tights are ready. Sew a hat. Cut out 2 identical pieces from the knitted fabric. This will be the shell and lining. On the shell you can draw something with special paints on the fabric. When the paint dries, it needs to be creaked by ironing through the fabric. In both parts we sew brooch undercuts. Now sew the middle seam in both pieces. In the lining detail, you need to leave a hole in the back of the head. Put the pieces face to face and pin. Do not forget to insert ties between the parts. Sew shell to lining. Make securing stitches at the top. up the hole with a blind stitch. The hat is ready.